Hi, my name is Zachari Haverkamp, and my thesis is entitled Sanctuary: Rebuilding the Lives of Widows of a Perpetual War. For my thesis, I did a competition where the challenge was to design a resilient center in Kandahar, Afghanistan for the widows of war. This center would provide them and their families educational, residential, and occupational opportunities under one umbrella facility. Over 2.5 million widows reside in Afghanistan due to over a decade of war. Cultural barriers and customs have displaced these women within their own society, and over 500 widows have cocooned themselves in the mountains of Afghanistan in an informal settlement called Zanabad. Zanabad roughly translates to "city of or by women." This city of women has become the site for a cultural resurgence, many of which have found comfort and opportunity in the practice of Afghan rug and carpet making, which is a traditional craft rooted in creating articles of necessity for nomadic tribesmen surviving in the rugged Afghan environment. All of the images following can be found within my concept board. The practice of rug making itself depends on women and is often described as women's work, due to the fact that the intricate patterns are memorized and passed down from mother to daughter. The knots are woven tightly together, allowing for intricate designs, and each knot relies on the others to hold the piece together. Similarly, the women in Zenabad have woven a community which relies on each member to do their part to keep it together. My thesis aims to broaden the opportunities of these women through designing an infrastructure that takes on the role of a resilience and cultural center in Kandahar, Afghanistan. The center will provide residential, occupational, and educational services for the widows and their families, while also providing a place to showcase their work within the cultural center. I began my research investigating the practice of rug making. In your bottom left corner, you can see the images of each step of rug making. The process is quite cyclical in nature, and most of this process is done by women. Men only really play a part when it comes to the public, due to the cultural expectations of women within Afghanistan. The given site is Kandahar, Afghanistan, which is the closest formal settlement to Zanabad, and a center for trade within the country. I designed the site to mimic the hill terrain of Zanabad by creating a site that slopes downwards towards the river to the west. The site will have a retaining wall filled in to create the mound upon which the structure will sit, raising it above the existing surroundings and elevating the view, which allows these women to be physically elevated while also elevating themselves during their time within the center. The competition outlines 4 required principles, which you can see to the right of the screen: education, residence, maintainability, and training and skill development. Women have become the guards of the tradition of rug making, and for this reason I have based my thesis on the process of weaving done to create these rugs. I began my project by creating a weaving of the site by hand using the techniques used for rug making. You can see this weaving in the top left corner of your screen. From there, I took a look at the untidy ends of the weaving and began doing drawings mimicking their form. I narrowed down these drawings to pick the one I felt would most contribute to the site. From this, I drew my design. I looked at several precedents of structures within Afghanistan and used them to inform my design. Within the elevation, you can see that the structure rests partially buried within the site. It is emerging from the landscape similarly to how these women will emerge into society with their training and support from the center. The section reveals the dual nature of the structure, with both public and private areas. In this section, the theater, workshop, and apartments are visible, each retaining a different level of privacy. In this section, you can see the classrooms as well as the library. Within the plans of each level, the program is laid out. The first floor is mostly public except for the apartments and the semi-public workspace. The second floor is all private space, encouraging the women and their children to live and learn together. The roof doubles as a patio and garden area, which is public during the day and private at night when the center is closed. Here you can see perspectives of my structure, and you can see how the public would interact within the structure. Here are more images of perspectives of the structure. The top is one of the side views and one of the main entrances, and the bottom two are the theater, one facing the house and one facing the stage. In this perspective, you can see the main hall of the gallery space, which will hold all of the rugs that these women have done over time, and these rugs would cycle out and move into the shop when it was their time to leave the gallery space. The other rooms would hold rugs as well, but also historical artifacts, which would be donated to the center to help raise money to support the women who live there. And the final perspective is the image of the workspace, which was super important to me to be a semi-public space where people could come and see how they work, but also a place that they feel safe and where they can be themselves. So there will be times during the day where the workspace would be closed to the public and other times where it was open to the public, and kids as well as adults could come and learn how to do the practice of rug making themselves, taught by these women. This center will propel these women towards a much brighter future, allowing for them to acquire spaces within their society that they weren't allowed to get before. It's really important to me that these space at the center be theirs and theirs alone, but a space that they can also share with their community, as well as a space that they can share with their families. Thank you so much for listening to my thesis proposal. Have a great day.